I am going to be explaining and doing this Edibit challenge in Python 3. And so I came across this the other day, and it caught my interest because I just do this kind of stuff. I try to complete some small challenges on the very easy difficulty, because I'm just not that good currently. So I came across this one, and so the instructions is create a function that flips M's to W's. All of them are uppercase, so you don't need to worry about the letter casing. So you can see here are some examples. So they call the function I love making challenges, and then the output is I love waking challenges. And you just get the gist. So I did this, and I already did this one, and then I looked at the solutions, like other people's solutions and stuff, and I was really surprised. Like they did it in like so many, God, like so much little. God, how do I say this? Like, all right, for example, I did mine in like 11 lines of code. They did theirs in just one line of code. But that is because I used a for loop and they used a special method, which is like built specifically for this kind of situations in Python, called the dot replace method. And so it's funny because, I mean, it's not really funny. It still is kind of funny because I went through all that trouble using a for loop, printing statements, using if statements, and all that stuff when I could have just used one line of code. Now I can demonstrate the one line of code by so we're gonna have to return a value, and that'll be words dot replace, and pass in the first parameter, which searches for all letters that is M, and then pass in the second parameter, which is the word that you want it replaced with, or like the character you want it replaced with. And you can go ahead and check that. Yep. So, that's checked and all that stuff. So that thing obviously works. But my original answer was to print out the words first, so I could debug it later on if there were any so I could see if there was a problem. Then I made a variable. Well, I reassigned the value of words to the list version of words, and if you don't know what a list is basically just multiple value assignments inside a single square bracket. So I turned a string into a word. Oh, I know. I turned a string into a list. Then I reprint words, which is the variable, which is now a list. Then I will set my variable called count equals to -1. You'll see why I did do this later. Then I will use a for loop, and all I'm saying is for every single character in a list, count is equal to count plus 1, and you can just basically do this by just doing plus equals 1. And then I use an if statement that goes if the character is equal to M, I will change that by turning it to W. Then, after I'm done going through the whole list, I will print and rejoin every single. I'll rejoin the list so that it'll turn into a string. Then I will return the list. If that just kind of makes any sense. I'll just explain. So you can go check. And there. It passed all the tests. So the first one you can see, since I printed it, and it'll show up here. What do you mean we're out of money? And then here, this is a list. I converted it into a list, so now it's all of the single characters are separate values. Then here, I accessed each so over here, I would say if the character is M, then I accessed the list through its placing or order in the list, and I turn it into W, so it'll say, what do you mean we're out of money? And I will join that, because if I just remove this, I'll just reprint words. Yeah, hold on. So if I do this, and I just recheck, you'll see why I have to rejoin I have to rejoin the list. Here. Now, it did so over here, this piece of code worked because every single M was turned into a W. But I did not join the list. So if I delete this and just repaste that, it's all done. So those are basically the two main ways of doing it. Obviously, if you go to the solutions tab, there's stuff like lambda, and maybe I can get into that later. I don't really want to though. Yep. So thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you next time.